rigid airship. It was designed and built by the Zeppelin Company in Friedrichshafen. The actual construction made of duralumin girders began in 1931, and after completion, LZ-129 was 804 feet, 245 meters long, with a diameter of 135 feet, 41 meters, and total gas capacity of 7,062,000 cubic feet of hydrogen. The actual construction made of duralumin girders began in 1931, and after completion, LZ-129 was 804 feet long, with a diameter of 135 feet, and total gas capacity of 7,062,000 feet of hydrogen. The ship was named Hindenburg, after Paul von Hindenburg of Germany, and until today it remains the largest aircraft ever flown. The ship's maiden flight took place on March 4, 1936, with airship pioneer Dr. Hugo Eckener as commander. After a period of propaganda flights for the Nazi government, on May 6, 1936, LZ-129 began the service it was originally built for: regular transatlantic crossings between Germany and the United States. By the end of 1936, Hindenburg had crossed the Atlantic Ocean 34 times, and this successful season seemed to indicate that regular transatlantic air service had arrived. But the first North American flight of 1937, under the command of Captain Max Pruss, turned into disaster. The airship was a few hours behind schedule, and her landing on Thursday, May 6, 1937, in Lakehurst was complicated by thunderstorms. A few minutes after the landing lines were dropped, the first external flames appeared. The fire spread very quickly and consumed the ship in less than a minute. Hindenburg left Frankfurt with 97 souls on board. 62 survived the crash at Lakehurst, although many suffered injuries. 13 of the 36 passengers and 22 of the 61 crew, including the most senior officer on the board, Captain Ernst Lehmann, died as a result of the crash, along with one member of the civilian landing party. The exact cause of the accident has still not been determined, even though the variety of hypotheses appeared. The disaster of the Hindenburg was captured on film, and millions of people around the world saw the dramatic explosion which consumed the ship and its passengers. The spectacular film footage, as well as eyewitness radio reports, shattered public and industry faith in airships and marked the end of the giant passenger-carrying airships for decades. The interior on the Hindenburg was divided into 3 areas: passenger decks for 50, eventually 72 passengers, contained within the hull of the airship; crew areas and control car in the ship's gondola. The modern interior with lightweight aluminum furniture was designed by Fritz August Briehaus, and the walls were decorated by Otto Arpke. Passenger areas were heated. Walls and doors of the cabins were made of a thin layer of lightweight foam covered by fabric, and each cabin had running water. During the 1936 season, the lounge contained a duralumin piano. Most surprising, aboard a hydrogen airship, but probably the most popular public room on the ship, was the smoking room. It was kept at higher pressure and was separated from the rest of the ship by an airlock. Crew areas on Hindenburg were primarily located along the keel, together with tanks and cargo storage areas. The keel also offered access to engine cars and the auxiliary control station. Hindenburg was navigated and conned from a control car located toward the bow of the airship and divided into 3 sections: a control room at the front, a navigation room at the center, and an observation room at the back. Hindenburg had a normal cruising altitude of 650 feet, 200 meters, but sometimes was flown as low as 330 feet, 100 meters, when necessary to stay below the clouds. The weather was one of the most important factors in Zeppelin operations, and officers spent a lot of time preparing and consulting the weather maps. Maximum speed of LZ-129 was 135 kilometers, or 84 miles per hour, but most of the time the four Daimler-Benz engines were operated at a cruise setting of 1,350 rotations per minute, giving the ship the airspeed of about 125 kilometers or 76 miles per hour. Hindenburg was commanded like an ocean-going vessel. The ship was flown by a minimum of 39 officers and men under the command of the captain. Passengers were served by a chief steward, a chief cook, and 10 to 12 stewards and assistant cooks. Hindenburg also began carrying a doctor in 1937. This project is dedicated to the memory of 36 victims who perished in the disaster and was developed with respect to the designers, engineers, crew members, and generally to all who were able to create and operate the largest flying aircraft ever.
It's starting to rain again. The rain has slacked up a little bit. The back motors of the ship are just holding it just enough to keep it from... Reverse and deflect. Get it started. It's right, and it's crashing. It's crashing terrible. Oh, my, get out of the way, please. It's burning, bursting into flames, and it's falling on the mooring mast, and all the folks agree that this is terrible. This is one of the worst catastrophes in the world. Oh, it's like 20... 400 or 500 feet into the sky, and it's a terrific crash, ladies and gentlemen. The smoke and the flames now, and the flame is crashing to the ground, not quite to the mooring mast. All the humanity and all the passengers screaming around it. I can't talk to people. There's pressure on there. I can't talk, ladies and gentlemen. Honest, it's just laying there a massive smoking wreckage. And everybody can't hardly breathe and talk and screaming. Lady, I'm sorry. Honestly, I can hardly breathe. I'm going to step inside where I cannot see it. Charlie, that's terrible. Listen, folks, I'm going to have to stop for a minute because I've lost the voice. This is the worst thing I've ever witnessed.
Hindenburg LZ-129 was a large German commercial passenger-carrying rigid airship. It was designed and built by the Zeppelin Company in Friedrichshafen. The actual construction